All right, the stream is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on so many levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yay!
Yay! And it's a very exciting development this evening. We have our Viv back. Yay!
Yay!
I'm Christiana Ellis. I'm the Dungeon Master, and our players tonight, Mark Kilfoyle as Alaric Copperbeard,
How's it going?
Starla Hutchton as Nirakina Ethu,
Greetings and citations.
Chooch Schubert as Otterkey,
Hello.
Nukchus as Granis,
Hello.
and returning to the party, Vivid Muse as Amethyst.
Hi, and yay that I made it back while Nutty is here. Yay!
Aren't we glad that I didn't finish last week?
We have Smarta Master in the chat says Amethyst hugs.
Hugs back.
So it's very exciting to have not only our full regular party but also a guest. It's our continued guest, Nutty, and it's full house today, which is fun.
Yay.
So, last time, the heroes of legend, fresh off their victory over the cave dragon, made their way to the enormous statue in the center of the stone giant city and used the now relit beacon, temporarily relit, to open the door to the stone giant vault, where inside they found the inhabitants of the city, now all petrified into actual literal stone, and then sitting in a throne at the base of an enormous 40-foot tall stone statue, the Dreamwalker, Calcifa, who had started all of this. You confronted her, and she was steadfast in her insistence that what she was doing was protecting her people from the end of the world, which she saw as a dream that would be ending. And you did your best to persuade her otherwise, and you were able to persuade her that, at the very least, the other non-giants who had been petrified as well, including Deke, the half-orc employee of the Carrot and Stick, you were able to persuade her to release them, but even with Nira offering to allow her mind to be read, which required her to be turned to stone, basically she was not persuaded, and it looked like you were all going to leave. Nira restored, thankfully. But as you were more or less on your way out, considering it a temporary stalemate, Granis used her curse of the evil eye and caused this stone giant Dreamwalker to undergo a strange physical deformity magically, and enraged, she lashed out and commanded this enormous statue to attack. And the rest of you did your best to protect your friend, and in the combat, the stone giant Calcifa was slain, and immediately the statue stopped moving. You later discovered that she had in her possession a rod which perhaps allowed her to control the statue. And you discovered also that the enormous magic circle there in the vault seemed to continue to exude a petrifying aura, which not only was dangerous to approach for you, but probably kept all of the stone giants in their petrified state, even after the death of the Dreamwalker. And that is more or less where we left things. You guys were bringing your recovered prisoners with you. They were still a little bit disoriented from having been petrified for so long. You were bringing them out, and you were talking about perhaps taking a long rest, after which you might have some more options to decide what to do next. But as you... oh, yeah, so Smarter Master has just pointed out that my text label for Alaric has a typo.
No, I think it's just her. Amethyst's cape is blocking the tail of the P.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, fair enough.
Sounds like me. I would totally do that.
It did look like it said Cooper Beard.
My cousins, the barrel beards, they're the ones.
Yeah, but so you all were kind of leaving the vault.
We
Dope.
have an infinite loop going on here. Is that just me?
I'm not hearing anything on my end.
Mm-mm.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
I know what I did.
All right.
Twitch just started playing randomly.
Ah. Well, Doak was a little bit subdued, in large part because he has increasingly detected accurately that you guys aren't telling him everything, and it's important stuff that you seem to be leaving out, and he's not altogether happy about that. But you are coming out of the vault, preparing to perhaps find a place to have your long rest, when all of a sudden you feel sort of a strange magical presence in the air, almost kind of a static electricity. And then just you blink, and then in front of you is the Lord of the Hunt and Amethyst. And he addresses all of you and says, "As promised, I found her with her friends. I am returning her to where I found her. She may be a bit disoriented at first. Be gentle with her. And I look forward to meeting all of you again in person soon." And he bows and then kind of just fades away, leaving Amethyst behind.
Whoa, where are we? Where are we?
Oh, that's a long story.
Do you have my amulet? Do you have my amulet? Concealment amulet. Quickly, does anyone have
Who's
it?
got the amulets?
Quickly. Who has it, guys? Come on.
I don't know who has it. One of us has it.
Somebody search pockets. They're tracking. They're trying to find us. They're pissed off that they can't find us. I need the amulet, guys. They could show up any minute. Guys.
You did take possession of all of them. You guys would have had the extras, I think.
So we will hand it to her.
All right. You know, this is me as the DM.
One of us will.
Game team remembered.
Oh, honey, that's actually haunted me a few times.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Christiana. She's gonna send something on us.
Well,
Okay.
let me. You know, you guys are not wrong to be paranoid that there are some very powerful entities hunting for you, and the only thing stopping them from coming straight to you are those charms.
I'm gonna cautiously approach Amethyst, looking a little suspicious. Are you really you?
I think so. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, are you? Who's your new? Who's the new friend? Is it somebody we trust?
The little one is Doak, and the
Well,
larger
she
one
knew
is...
Doak. So Doak was showing everyone around town.
Well, the other one's Deke.
Well,
He's the half one.
there's actually a few. There was 5
okay.
different individuals that you
I
had
don't
freed
know.
from their petrification.
I think she's talking about the gray elephant in the
Well,
room.
yeah, so let me just briefly describe everyone who's
Okay,
kind of
cool.
standing here. So obviously, Alaric and Nira and Otterkey are there. Doak is the young, gold-colored dragonborn who is the son of the proprietors of the Carrot and Stick. And, you know, as a meta sense, you know, even though you weren't actually in that episode, Amethyst was there when Doak showed everyone around the town. But that was when you started having your vision, which we'll go into. So you recognize him, though, at least. You know him briefly, if not after several days of adventuring together.
Right.
But also present is a 20-foot tall giant with very strange and sort of deformities to her, and it doesn't look like the image of stone giants that you had been sort of presented with previously. She has a big sort of hunch to her back. One of her arms is bigger than the other, and she's got some distorted features, including one eye that's much larger than the other. And
that's Granis, by the way. And I'm just going to run straight for Amethyst. And kind of just a big old hug.
Oh, big old hug right back.
We would have needed you so many times over.
Let me.
Are you hurt in any way? Are you're not bleeding or anything? Are you?
No.
He was
That hug didn't
honest.
help.
He didn't
And
hurt you or anything,
Amethyst,
did he?
from your perspective, it's been like an hour since you
Yeah.
were last with them in the town.
You've been gone years. Fellas.
It sounds about right.
At least 100.
So, are we safe here?
Yes, but I
complicated,
think we
but-
should get somewhere and rest for a while. It's a very long story. We have a lot to tell you.
Doak kind of speaks up and says, yeah, I don't think these guys are really ready to travel yet. And just to finish, Doak is tending to the 5 individuals that were freed from their petrification, the non-giant, which Calcifa allowed to leave. What you have there is a sort of, a maybe 40-something half-orc who seems to be the one that Doak is sort of paying the most attention to. There's also a middle-aged half-elf. There's a pair of youngish, maybe 20s tieflings that look, like there's a family resemblance perhaps amongst them, and they're wearing leather armor. And then there is an elderly man that's, the rest of you would probably guess a dwarf, but one thing of note related to him, Alaric, is that he has gray skin and white hair, and you recognize immediately he's a Duragar, which is a type, sort of a regional sub-ethnicity of dwarves that, from your understanding, are basically evil dwarfs that don't live in other clans. They live much deeper underground, and they're pretty much exclusively evil, and the only time you ever encounter them are when some sort of an expedition party of them has come up to make trouble, and they're usually fought off or killed or taken prisoner or whatever. But that's who you see. So the 5 individuals, other than Doak, of course, all seem like they're getting around, but they still seem like they're a little bit unsteady on their feet. They're a little confused.
I'm going to stomp over to the elderly one, who I thought was just gray because he was turned to stone. Now I see something different.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you?
Oh, what? I'm Darik.
Darik?
Darik Doomfist.
Doomfist. Does any of the rest of you know this Darik? Call over to the others.
Let's see, the half-elf kind of just says, yeah, I've seen him around. He's just works within the trading house.
Right. Well,
And
I
then
keep an eye on you, old
this
man.
guy, Darik, kind of glares at you, Lark, and just says, and who are you? Like, what is this place? What's happening here?
We'll talk about that in detail, but for now we're going to find a place to hunker down for the night. Your brains are scrambled, I suspect.
I assume that Granis would know that. Is there like a good building in the area that would work as a great place for everyone to rest together, get out of the elements?
Yeah, you know that, especially now that you don't think you have to worry about a cave dragon chasing you out, that you can go to essentially like the residential area of the city where, people's houses are. You could even take them to your own house if you wanted.
No, mine's too cramped. It's just big enough for me, really.
How many of us are there total?
So with the 5 that you have now freed from petrification and Doke, there's 10 medium-sized creatures and 1 giant.
I think a good place might be to take them to, say, the schoolroom.
Yeah. Yeah, you can take them there. It's not too far.
So I think we should go to my old schoolroom, and there we can all rest and recoup. It's just this way.
Lead on.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna keep an eye out on Derek, but I do want to kind of wander over to Amethyst. It's a weird thing, isn't it? These Fey things just pluck you out of everything and throw you in something else.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah.
You're doing okay, though. I don't know how long it was for you, but it was a few days for us.
Days? It just felt like an hour.
I think it's a couple of days. It's gotten a little weird. Being underground again after being up top. Start to lose track.
Yeah, it's definitely been at least 2 nights.
Okay.
Has
2 moons.
Everybody got any food?
Oh, I've got
that's
you
right.
covered. I'll take care
Doing
of
our
you.
hard travel rations.
Yeah. It's good having you back, Amethyst. Your food's pretty good.
Thanks.
Although there is
Everybody's okay though. Like,
I think so.
Doke
Near
kind
is
of
probably
says,
worse.
"We fought a dragon."
Oh yeah.
a dragon.
Yeah,
I miss all
we
the
did.
fun.
Fight a dragon.
We killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have that
Corpse.
corpse laying
Yeah,
around, don't we?
he's over there.
The Doke kind of also looks a little bit like upset. Is just saying, but all the stone giants are still petrified, and the one that we think did it, I mean, she made us kill her. Essentially, she fought and she died, and now everyone's still stone.
Yeah, we gotta figure out how to fix that.
One thing at a time, Doke.
Yep.
We're good, but I'm wondering if we can drag him out of there. That circle seems to be the source of all the problem. But they're big. While Grannis might be able to.
Well, you do
One,
recall
two.
Grannis lifted one of the child statues and carried him out of the vault
Oh yeah.
before, and at least immediately outside the vault, it didn't seem to have any effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, I think we need to turn off the circle,
Yeah.
however that works.
So, and
So
hopefully that's enough. Hopefully it's not, doesn't need to be some other ritual that we don't even know of.
which is why I think contacting your parents, Doke, might be a good idea.
Maybe I'll make sense of that that wand or whatever it is you pulled out of the chair too.
Well, we're gonna have to wait for them to message me again, because they messaged me before we fought the dragon, and I said we were fine. So I wouldn't guess that they're gonna call again before tomorrow.
Well, yeah. Tomorrow I can initiate that myself. Tomorrow, not today. I'm absolutely wiped. But first thing in the morning, I can cast a spell that will allow me to ask the question directly.
I'll clap him on the shoulder. Don't worry, Drokara, Doke. We'll do what we can. And you know what? They've been stoned for a while. They can stay stoned for one night. They'll be actually probably safer than anybody around here.
Yeah.
We could use the rest. We'll rest up and be better. Besides, Amethyst is here. That makes everything better.
Are we in the schoolroom yet?
Yeah, I'd say you guys are probably arriving there, and for most of you, it may as well just be a big room with a lot of like open space to pitch your bedrolls or whatever, because what looks in shape more or less like a small classroom for giants, but all of the chairs are 6 feet tall at the seat. and the tables, another 10.
So the chairs are small apartments, and the tables are roomy apartments.
They're just for children.
Yeah, well, I stand up tall underneath the table, not anywhere near the top of the table. It's good enough for me.
That looks funny.
And you are inside a building now, so even though it's still light outside because it's still only maybe like early afternoon. So it's still light coming in from the mouth of the cave, but now that you're inside this building, there's a little bit of light coming through the windows, but it's darker in here than outside.
I think Amethyst is the only one that's going to have problems with that. It doesn't have night vision. You still have the goggles?
Doak doesn't have night vision.
And he's like, nope.
I had the goggles, but did we? Am I imagining that we got night vision as a part of the Lake Elamon
No,
rewards?
not night vision. That was
Not night vision.
Swim speed and Koto and
Gotcha.
water breathing.
Yeah, would you guys use
But
those
somebody
goggles?
had the spell it prepped at one time to help.
That's right. That's right. I got goggles, and Andrew had goggles. Oh, Andrew's.
Andrew's on
Heard
her
about
way
what
home.
happened to
Where
Andrew.
Andrew is.
She's just on her way home. Shouldn't even be there by now, I think, depending which way she went.
Uh-huh.
Is it chilled at all, or is it warm enough?
It's cool, but you're not in. There's not really any wind or breeze now that you're in the building, so it's not so bad.
is there like a fireplace? Something? I mean, that'll help shed light and.
There is a fireplace, but it's not presently got anything in it.
So I'm gonna cast Hero's Feast, my 6th level spell, since we're about to go to sleep.
Wow.
You do have that's food.
Ooh.
It's
Yeah.
It takes an hour to consume, and then it disappears at the end of that time. The beneficial effects don't set in until the hour's up.
Yeah.
Up to 12 other creatures can partake of the feast, and I think we're good with numbers. A creature that partakes of the feast gains several benefits. The creature is cured of all diseases, poisons, becomes immune to poison and being frightened, and makes all wisdom saving throws with advantage. Its hit points maximum also increases by 2d10 and gains the same number of hit points, and the benefits last for 24 hours.
So, as much as I love
Wow.
that use of the spell, what I'm gonna just mention is that technically speaking, it requires a golden chalice with gemstones worth 1,000 gold that is consumed
What?
when you cast that spell.
Oh yeah, that's an expensive dinner, guys. I think my credit card's gonna get
Yeah.
declined.
So that's an awesome spell for when you are going into a tough battle. It's not a, hey, let's relax and chill for tonight and hang out.
It's 24 hours.
I kind of imagine that Amethyst is describing
Yeah.
the new spell she's figured out. But I can't
Yeah.
salivating.
But in the meantime, here's a good berry.
Exactly.
Yeah, that spell is so cool.
That's
but
exactly what I'm doing. Is handing out
cool
good berries.
enough that I can't let you cast it for free.
Sorry, guys. Have
We
a
are
good
definitely picking up
berry.
a chalice when we get a chance.
We got no fire. We'll have to do.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's going to be amazing.
Well, so one of the things that I think I would probably be willing to allow in the future is that if you have 1,000 gold, we can sort of, and it seems reasonable, we can kind of retcon. Like this became an ongoing thing in Critical Role Campaign 1. It's like, well, did you go and buy any chalices so you could cast a spell? But like right now, you don't even have the gold. You wouldn't have been able to buy one of these
No.
challenges, so
No,
it's
these
like,
guys shop too much. We'll never have 1,000 gold. I might as well retire that card.
well,
I'm always handing my money over.
you'll have a bunch of money if you can wake the stone giants up potentially. But in the meantime, yes. So you had this great idea, and you were describing how cool this meal was going to be, and everyone is like, "Wow, that sounds amazing! That's great! That's great!" And then you're like, "Oh wait, no, sorry. but good berries.
There's a
Sounds like a
hitch.
chalice with lots of gems on it. No.
Anybody? Anyone?
There's always a
1,000 gold.
catch.
1,000 gold. I can do a magic exchange.
Make an intelligence
Got some
check,
big ass
Grannis.
diamonds.
Oh, okay.
We can sell up parts of that
See
dragon.
if I know if
tree.
there's one in the area.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you get a high number, you'll remember one that'll work.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
Ah,
Okay,
well.
so it's a 13.
No, sorry. This is a specific thing. You know where there's, personal goods, but that's
Oh, there's a mushroom garden somewhere around here.
Maybe we could,
fancy gold chalices with lots of gems is not really the stone giant aesthetic.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we can go carve up some cave dragon steaks for dinner.
Oh, hey.
Doak kind of says, given how
very
poisonous
good
that
point.
thing was, I don't know if we want to try eating it.
Yeah, but
Yeah, lots of
stomach
plants.
acids and it's
Well,
dead and
Can't amethyst purify food and drink?
If she has the spell loaded.
Nira does not.
we can age the steaks overnight and have them clear.
Right. Just smoke them.
Yeah, do like they do in Iceland and like bury that shit for like a year.
Salt it.
Well, actually, yeah, I think I always have it prepared, and I have one slot left.
So a new plan: get some strange
Can purify
mushrooms,
some steaks.
get some dragon steaks.
So
Don't
you
feel
are
fun.
going out to go get dragon steaks?
Yeah.
What'd you think, Archie? Let's go be butchers.
I mean,
We did.
yeah, I'm sure
I mean,
we'll make some
technically, this
survival
dragon
checks.
is only a few hours dead, so it's it's
Mhm.
not like it's rotting yet.
It's kind of free range.
Yeah.
Wonder what
Let's
dragon-
do
I
it.
could eat if somebody wants to cook up
All
some
right.
dragon. I mean,
Archie,
good
let's
berries.
go get us some dragon
Fine and all,
All
but
right. So you go out to where you guys left the dragon, and again, what you're looking at is like a 40-foot long, heavily armored centipede-looking thing with a giant eyeless head. So, you want to tell me what your plan is here?
Just chop some off the back.
I don't want to boil it in a giant pot.
I'll let you make a survival check if you want.
I mean, seems like the thing to do.
so everybody else except for our group has been turned to stone. There's
Well-
nobody else around.
In this town, everyone's turned to stone. All of the stone giants are turned to stone.
And Doak
Okay.
says, and these guys were turned to stone along with the stone giants, and it was only them that we were able to convince the Dreamwalker to free.
Yeah,
Yeah, the 5 or
kind
so of them.
of tricked her.
So that's a 20, not natural.
Okay.
Jeez.
Oh, is that survival check? Was that
Yeah.
okay?
Of course, when it does not matter at all.
Right. So
I
does
got a
that mean
17,
Nira is
but-
the one making the the cuts?
Yeah, I didn't know if she was doing it or I was doing it. I got a
she's a
16,
clerk.
so we could say
Okay.
we were
Okay.
assisting.
Well, how about this? If you don't want to be the one making the cuts, Nira, you can assist Archie and let him roll one more time.
Can I like draw some dotted lines or say, okay, cut here?
Well, that's what your assistance would be.
Okay, we'll do that. He's got the sword. I can smash it, but that's about it. So.
I think you're supposed to
Alright.
smash it after we boil it, aren't you?
So you want to roll one more time for retroactive advantage, Archie? Technically, I think it's Amethyst who has
Oh, sorry,
skill.
I muted. It was 2 16s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you like it's messy and it kind of takes a while and it's kind of super gross and it takes a while to get through the armor and all. It's got really tough hide, which you can't help but think is like, I mean, I guess it makes sense for something that burrows through the stone, right?
We got to give that to
But
those,
eventually
those
you are able to carve out a fair amount of really gamey smelling muscle that seems very tough.
Jesus.
Oh, Oh yeah.
So Amethyst is kind of
Cook it
leaning
long
back
enough.
and watching all of this.
Has
and
kind of an acrid smell to the blood.
is turning vegetarian right in front of your eyes.
So
Okay,
you
so
said
we-
a last slot,
So-
a little slot for purify food and drink. Well, I guess we would. He was going to harvest some mushrooms or whatever, and we'll
Yeah, where's that mushroom?
give it
garden?
a nice long cook
So
The
can I
mushrooms
and
are
then
cook it?
purify it all.
Can I cook it with sacred flame? Would that work?
That's not really.
That would be funny.
Basically, that would be like saying, can you cook meat with 3 seconds from a flamethrower? Like, well,
Turn it up enough.
Technically,
Kinda.
yes.
but I can't help but think that your training would probably point out to you that your sacred flame is divine magic granted to you by your patron spirit, and it's not for cooking meat.
Are you saying that it's sacred?
But
I think you just got to burn over sacred flame.
I think if you guys are just taking some
Burn.
time to do it, you know, you're not in a rush or anything like that. So you can definitely go and harvest some
Yeah.
mushrooms, and then if you
We're in a
wanted,
rest situation, right?
yeah, you could even go out to the plateau, and you know that like some of the crops and everything were a little overgrown out there, but there were still some crops and stuff out there, like vegetables and so on.
Yeah. Hey, Doke, you want to go find some mushrooms with me?
Sure.
Let's go. There's a sweet spot not too far.
Okay. And he turns to the rest of you guys. Is like, while I'm doing that, can you these guys seem like they're calm for now. Like they may just go to sleep, but just watch them. I don't think they're quite in their right minds yet.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on them.
And sure enough, like as you leave, they're mostly kind of just like sitting against a wall, sort of staring into space. Yeah.
Was
So,
the half elf that spoke up before?
well, you went and addressed Darek the Duragar, and it was the half elf who said, "Yeah, I've seen him."
Okay. I didn't want to interrupt if you were going somewhere. Or I could.
No, I was just going to say that I don't think we need to belabor the point of Doke and Granis going
No.
to find mushrooms. It's just they're going to
They're
be
gonna
gone
go
a
do
little
their
while
thing.
doing that. That's all.
1 hour later, the adventure come back.
Yeah. So I just
Covered
mean
in
to, like,
blood.
yeah.
Mushrooms back.
So anyway, I think Amethyst, you know, when you suddenly were just dropped in the middle of this new place, it was, you know, it was kind of all you could do to sort of acclimatize yourself to the fact that you're in a completely different place. You're back with your friends. There's so much going on. And so you kind of weren't even thinking about what had just happened with you and the Lord of the Hunt. But, you know, now that things are calming down a little bit, it's, you know, like the memories of it that still feel vaguely dreamlike are kind of coming back to you. And so I think now we can just kind of go through that part, if everyone's all right with that.
Yeah. Is everyone back from there?
Sounds good.
Well,
What's
Doke
your
and Granis are still getting mushrooms. Did you
Oh,
want to,
okay.
But that's
I mean,
okay.
but besides, what we're going to go through, you and I, is what you remember, not necessarily you telling everybody else. So
Okay.
you can decide how much you want to tell everybody else. I mean, if we go through all of that, you can just kind of then say, I turn to everybody else and I tell them all of that. You know, you can do that if you want, if that's what you do. But it's up to you, right? In any event.
I mean, I don't plan on keeping anything from them.
Well, that's fine. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's your decision to make, is all. But so, as these sort of thoughts and memories are kind of coming back to you, what you remember is before all of this happened, you were following Doke into town with your friends, with the idea, being that you were going to, you know, get shown around the town. And you were following along, but it started, something odd started happening as you were walking through the town, is that you kind of started daydreaming a little bit, and it was like you were imagining yourself as a fish swimming around in like a sun-dappled pond. And you know, you were still aware of yourself walking around the town and everything, but it's kind of like you just had this persistent daydream running parallel to that. You're just swimming around and just enjoying the exploration, nothing in particular happening. But then in this daydream, you spotted a mysterious shiny thing and kind of went over to investigate. And as you drew closer to it, you heard a voice in your head that you had heard once before in a dream. And it said, "Amethyst, I'm so pleased that you have managed to hide yourself so effectively. I had thought that this hunt would be over before it began."
Thanks.
"I wonder if you would indulge me in a game."
Well, you haven't shot me with anything yet, so what are the rules?
It's a questions game. Right now, I can assure you, you remain hidden through whatever magics you have employed to do so. I'm contacting you in a separate way, sort of through dreams. I don't know where you are and won't, even if you decide to play with me. But the game just goes like this. I will ask you a question, and you must tell the truth, but you are not obligated to tell me any more than you will. And if you answer me, you can ask me a question, and I will answer it honestly to the greatest extent of my knowledge. And then we take turns. I ask you a question, then you can ask me a question. If you choose not to answer one of my questions, that's fine. But then I will ask another. It will remain my turn.
So I look around to try and see any of my party. Can I see them?
Yeah, you still have this vague parallel vision where you're still there with your party. They don't seem to be aware of any of this happening, and that this is all, you recognize it as all happening in your head, but you definitely still have a sense that that doesn't mean it's not real. It's just occurring on some psychic wavelength. He says, "I will just need to borrow you from your friends for a moment, but don't worry, I will return you to precisely where I found you as soon as we're done." If you are afraid that this is a ploy that I'm using, let me reassure you that I am thrilled and excited that you have managed to hide from me. This is not an attempt to cheat and find you. I'm simply intrigued. I would like to know more about you. And as I said, you will not be obligated to answer my questions any more than you wish. But what information you do give me, I will grant information to you in your turn.
Okay, let's go.
And so you find yourself feeling more and more like this sort of daydream vision. The line between that and reality starts to kind of blur until it starts feeling almost like it's the other way. And then you realize that you are standing there with the Lord of the Hunt in his vaguely elven form, but there's just something otherworldly about him. And you're standing in just a void. And you see your friends also standing in a void just a few feet away, but they don't seem to realize what's happening. They just are continuing to walk along as though nothing else is happening. And you hear the Lord of the Hunt explaining to them what's happening and that you will be back. And then soon you find yourself sitting in a very pleasant meadow clearing within a large forest.
Well, at least it's lovely here.
It is too, and I mean, not only is it a lovely forest, but you always have this sense of, you know, the natural energies around you, and it's very intense here. Like this is forest plus right now. The energy of the life around you, from the grass, the trees, the rocks, the sky, everything just feels like it's just had the volume turned up. And he says, "Welcome to the Feywild. I expect that this is the first time you will remember being here."
Yeah. Yeah, it's the first time I remember being here.
So then, we have questions, we have answers. Are you ready to begin?
I believe so. Sure.
All right. And so you and I, you know, in a brief out of character moment, you and I, Viv, have kind of discussed through some of the questions already. So I figure we can still start with those, the ones that we kind of discussed through already, and then we'll get to the ones where we talked about what the questions might be but hadn't answered anything. Okay? All right. And if I can actually find my own notes, that would be helpful. Okay, so the very first question he asks is, he just says, "To begin, I would ask, what is it in all of this that you want?"
I want to fix something that I was a part of breaking, the stolen moment.
Interesting. Thank you. Now, your first question for me. I can remind you these first couple that we went back and forth.
Yeah,
Or if you want, you could just do any question you want. How about that?
No, I think I asked him the same question back. What is it that he wants out of this?
That is the first. Yeah. So, and his response is, "The artifact was stolen from my consort, Queen Hieratimus, and I believe that it would be an entertaining and worthy quest to retrieve it for her."
Fair enough.
Yes. So, my next question. Why is it, do you think, that you do not have your memories? Last time you chose not to answer this one.
Right.
We discussed it previously.
Yeah.
But
I'm not going to answer.
Okay. So I'll definitely say this is, although we previously had a discussion, this is loose. Whatever happens now is canon, and we can have it be the same as before or not. But so
hold on a second then.
Okay.
Because you said I don't know is an acceptable answer, right? If I really don't know the answer, you said that was an acceptable answer.
Well, yeah, that was a different question that I said that about, but I think in this context, he's asking you to speculate.
Yeah. I'm not going to answer.
Okay. Well then, that's fair and perfectly in accordance with the rules we discussed. But that means that I ask another. So my next question is, why do you suppose that Melicanth is so sad?
I think it's possibly like the way I feel, which is that we changed something, we broke something, we altered something, and it's had a huge impact on every plane of existence and every creature in the last 100 years. And I would guess that that's why.
Very well. What is your next question for me?
Let me see how I want to ask this. Since your allegiance is to Queen Herodimus, is that how you say it?
Yes.
Christiana?
Herotimus.
Herodimus, and you've told me previously that Queen Solomania will fight dirty to try and get the stolen moment back. Is there anything that you can tell me as far as weaknesses or anything that we can do to evade her or be successful?
As far as Queen Solomania is concerned, she is quite powerful. If I were to speculate on weaknesses, it would never be something as simple as a gap in her armor or a particular type of weapon. Instead, what I would suggest is her greatest weakness is her expectation that she should be able to know everything. Her desire is to know everything, and it is her belief that she deserves to know everything. And when information is withheld from her, she becomes enraged. That is perhaps something that could be taken advantage of. Though I will also add, whatever you have done to hide yourselves has been effective so far, and indeed, she is enraged.
Okay, well, yay. Yay. Thank you.
So, I would like to ask you, if I am to understand your plan, if you were to restore the stolen moment and defeat the Demon Lord, a notable accomplishment were you to achieve it, but even if you were to be successful, it would change time in such a way that your friends, Andri and Alaric, might be changed or even erased. How do you feel about that?
If we're successful in restoring the stolen moment, if we're successful in restoring the stolen moment, then everyone's lives will change. Countless people and beings will be erased. And some of them may not ever exist after we restore it. But hopefully restoring it will ease so many awful things that are happening right now, that my hope is that Alaric and Andri and the other people that have been born since then will not only exist, but the things that they've endured won't have had to have happened. The things that Alaric has gone through with the Fisher there, he might have had a totally different life. And I don't have any reason to believe that he would wink out of existence and never have existed. I don't know. I just know that the problems created by what we've done are so tremendous that we have to repair it and let the natural order of things happen.
Interesting. I find that answer acceptable. What is your next question?
1 second.
Take your time.
Oh, I missed one that I'd asked earlier.
That's all right. We can do. We are rewriting time as we speak.
Yeah. No, I'm just glad I caught it. Well, you sound as if you think that defeating the demon lord would be a really huge accomplishment. And I'm wondering if such a strong and powerful and experienced hunter such as yourself, I mean, is there a greater hunt that you would want to partake in other than helping us try to take down this demon lord? I mean, it's to your benefit. We're going to restore it. The demon lord's coming. You might as well help us defeat it, because then you can be a part of the tale.
It is true that the defeat of a demon lord would be a task with great glory assigned to it. I don't have any particular investment in defeating this demon in any other respect. He would, after all, be running rampant in your plane, not mine. But you're not wrong that it would be a glorious hunt. And still, with such a formidable opponent, it is likely only the sort of hunt that one would embark on when one is ready to end one's life. If you are successful, then you have attained glory, and if not, you have been felled in a worthy quest.
Well, I've got to say I'm not a fan of your phrasing. That's kind of a downer, but I thank you for your answer.
I will, with candor, point out that it is your plan to defeat a demon lord, not mine.
I'm an optimist. I got good people.
So, my next question. Why did you disapprove of your companions hunting the flail snail?
At the time, we were, if I remember correctly, we were shopping for more magical who's-he-what's-it devices, things. And we have a bag full of them already that we frequently forget to use. And when we were offered the job, I might be mixing up two things, by the way, Christiana. I might be thinking magic store and a different thing, but you know, we have all of these things that we don't use. And so I was a little disgusted when it was proposed that we could get even more magical who's-he-what's-it. All we had to go do was go kill this magical creature that we didn't know anything about. We didn't know how it would, we don't know if it's the last of its species. We didn't know the impact on the ecosystem there. It was just, oh, let's go get some more fancies. Let's go kill this thing. It'll be awesome. No trouble. And that offended me because we aren't in need of such things. We have amazing tools that we forget to use. We have amazing powers, and it felt just obscenely wasteful to me.
Very well. What is your next question?
Trying to merge two questions into one.
mean, all it takes to ask 2 questions is to be willing to answer 2 questions.
Yeah, I know. Is there... Is there anyone else that might be wanting the stolen moment that no, what I really want to know is, are you willing to kill us in order to obtain this art piece for your consort?
Not if it's not necessary. It would not be my preference. However, it is a hunt.
As long as we're not part of the trophy or the reward, that's my primary.
My objective is the artifact, and I believe that you are my best means of tracking the artifact and obtaining it. I would not feel it necessary to kill any of you unless you were to prevent me from doing so.
All right, I guess that makes sense.
So, here's a tough one. Do you prefer sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Would you be willing to elaborate?
Sure. I find it impossibly beautiful to watch the full light of the day bleed into the night sky with the array of colors that we get to see dance across the sky. And then the moon pops out. It's beautiful.
I agree. Your turn.
I'm sure that you've considered how you would defeat Maul the Lost, the Demon Lord. And again, it's in some sense it's still to your benefit if we are successful against the Demon Lord, because he might get bored with our plane and travel to yours at some point for your involvement in it. But I wonder if you have any advice to share on
the defeat of a demon lord?
Yeah.
Well, first let
That
me
was my
clarify. You do presume much in claiming that it is to my benefit to fight a demon lord when he would not be attacking my plane, and we do have our own defenses. However, the spirit of your question is advice on how to defeat one if one were to engage in combat. And I will answer that honestly, to the best full extent of my knowledge as promised. To begin, the nature of demons is such that they only care about their own power and increasing that power by destroying anything in their way. They may ally with other demons or even other non-demonic creatures, but only when they see a personal benefit associated with it, and they would have no honor or loyalty to any cause other than themselves. However, the very power that they possess can have a corrupting influence on weaker-minded individuals that surround them, mortal or demon. It can corrupt even the landscape around them, and this corrupting influence can be difficult to resist and can lead to evil poison, rot in the soul of any who would encounter it, and madness in the mind. These are things you would need to prepare yourself for. It is also true that demons are very powerful physically, and demon lords in particular. They are difficult to fight in the same way that a mortal creature with great strength is difficult to fight. They do also possess magic, though that can vary in its expression from one demon lord to another. But what I would suggest is you must prepare yourself for the corrupting influence they have, both in the way that it would influence you, as well as taking into account that they will likely have corrupted others. There is no fighting fair with a demon. However, one other alternative. There are other powerful entities that would oppose the evil presented by devils and demons. Having a powerful force of good on your side could also be an asset.
Well, thank you. That's a lot of really good information.
Of course. My next question for you. If you had to choose just one of your friends to trust with the fate of the artifact, if you could no longer proceed on your mission, who would it be?
So do you want to know, like, the one person the most, or are there any parameters on the question,
If you were
Christiana?
unable to continue any further in your mission, and you had to trust the fate of the artifact to one individual, who would it be?
It's literally splitting hairs. It's really difficult to choose between Archie and Nira, but I believe that Archie would be more devoted in accomplishing it simply because of what the Demon Lord has done to his family. So I would have to say Archie. I trust him to finish the job.
Interesting. What is your next question?
Out of character, I'm regretting answering that now.
Damn it!
I should have said, no, I'm not saying.
No, you see
I
the
thought for
sneaky,
sure you
insidious
were.
nature of these easy questions.
Yes, Hooker, I do.
Now, bear in mind, like I said, right now what we are doing is going through your memory. What you choose to share with the others is up to you.
Well, Starla knows already, so Nira knows. Assuming she was listening.
What did I say?
You said nothing, honey.
I got yelled at for metagaming before, so I didn't hear nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I missed that.
Danielle. It is Amethyst's next question.
Yeah. what do you know of Mount Rushama and the preparations for war there? Is Malthalos summoning what Rushama is preparing for, or something else?
So, I will clarify that I am not omniscient to events occurring on your plane.
Of course.
I will answer to the best of my own knowledge, but this may not be a fully satisfactory answer for you.
Of course.
Just as I am not able to magically detect your location now, there are many events surrounding Mount Rushama that I am likewise unable to pierce. There is powerful spells covering up untold secrets beneath that mountain. And I cannot tell you more about what the spirit is thinking beyond observations of his erratic behavior. The elves living upon his slopes, however, have begun conscription within their population and rigorous martial training for their entire community. And as well, they have begun to reinforce the defenses of their city.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. My next question for you. You claim to feel a sense of responsibility for the events that have taken place. So I ask, if you had the opportunity to change one of your own past decisions, what would it be?
During one of the fights that we had against some beastie that had traveled through a fissure, we were all fighting, and or maybe it was a bunch of spirits in a loosened Lake Alamo, I'm not sure, but there was a small number, a handful of people that were injured, and they were knocked on the ground and suffering. And then there was the beastie, and we were all fighting the beastie, and I chose to attack or do something along those lines. And I don't remember if the spell or the tactic that I attempted worked. I don't remember. I remember that those people died.
This is the Houstra fight?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that was that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Houstra fight.
Yeah, that's where there were some of the townsfolk that were killed by it during the fight.
That was from the spirits, though, wasn't it, or was that from a fissure?
Well, it was after the distribution of all the spiritual energy into all the different spirits.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't remember if that worked or not. I just remembered that those people died, and I wish that I had cast a heal on them instead of taking another chip at this monster when we had so many other people here, so many other people fighting it.
Your turn.
Other than the two Fey Queens, do you know of anyone else that may want the stolen moment and what they might want it for?
Well, I can tell you for certain that there are a great number of entities who would like to get the artifact within their possession. To begin with, I know specifically that there are demons who seek it for a variety of purposes. Some that would like to see the demon lord restored, others that wish to ensure that he is not, so that they can fill the power vacuum left behind. There are also the lawful evil entities, the devils, and in their eternal war against the demons, they would certainly desire to prevent the return of such a powerful demon lord. However, it is also true that it is not in their interest to have the entire multiverse shattered. Regardless, they would desire to have the artifact's power under their own control. There are also, as I had previously mentioned, in addition to these powerful forces of evil, there are their polar opposite, forces of good, chaotic good, lawful good, that would see such a powerful artifact and understand its power, and perhaps in desiring your same end, the repair of the universe, they would seek to obtain it for that purpose. However, that does not mean that their assessment would be that it is best for you to have it. And I will finish just by saying that any entity of sufficient power will be aware of what's happening to the universe, and to the extent that they are aware of the artifact's existence, will desire it.
Okay.
My next question for you. If your friends stood between you and restoring the stolen moment, would you kill them?
There's a lot of hesitation there.
You are not under any obligation to answer if you are not comfortable.
But I feel like that's kind of an answer in itself.
Well, I'm literally stumped on a question, Starlet. Literally stumped because I don't know what Amethyst would do.
Well, it is deliberately a difficult question.
Of course.
Amethyst's choice.
I'm not going to answer that.
Very well. Then next I would ask, earth, fire, air, or water?
Earth.
Your turn.
Oh god, that's gonna bite me in the ass. I just know it. I feel almost like I'm doing a Mad Lib for pain later.
Just don't think of marshmallows. I didn't think of anything. Did you think of anything? Anyway.
It's a childhood memory.
Safe of Marshmallow Dragon?
Would that have similar stats to a pudding?
Perhaps.
Pudding Pop?
I'm gonna say that I'm getting tired and forgetful and at this point.
That's all right. So, if you are feeling like that is all of the questions that Amethyst had, then the game can be over. Or it can also be a case of, like, the memory is fading a little bit. There might have been more, but you don't remember at the moment.
That one.
Okay. All right. So, yes, as you are sitting there in the stone giant classroom, waiting for, some of your friends to come back from, harvesting cave dragon steaks or mushrooms. Those are the memories that you have recovered from your experience with the Lord of the Hunt. You feel like there was more, but it's hazy at the moment. And so I think we can go ahead and move to everybody has sort of come back and the gathered dinner items are assembled and it is a subdued meal, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Big family dinner. Big, quiet, big family dinner.
At Doak's prompting, the 5 non-petrified guys are, they eat a little bit, and they actually seem like they're clearing up. There's a little bit less 1,000-yard stare in their eyes, but they also look just exhausted.
I always thought that sleeping like stone would be the best sleep of all, but maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much.
Yeah, you know, Nira, that even though, if according to what they said, you were only stoned for a few minutes at the most, it did not feel restful. It felt stiff and uncomfortable upon waking.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I could use a good long rest.
We want to.
I only got a small taste of what these guys have gone through, and I'm just exhausted.
Doak just kind of says, it's just as well that we're staying here, too, because when we went out to look for fungus, there's a big storm coming outside. Don't want to be out there.
Will it reach into the cave?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, the wind might come in. It's hard to say. You remember how I told you guys that the spirits around here are a little wild? I guess they're not like the well-behaved spirits that I don't know, that have a lot of worship. They're more like they're just wild, and so sometimes we get these storms that have a spirit at the heart of them, and they just kind of rage. You gotta sort of just respect their power, and that's really all there is to it. I don't know if that's what's happening with this one, but it looks like a big storm, that's for sure. And so those can act weird, but I think we're probably safer in here than we would be out there, that's for sure.
I'm not gonna lie, I am super curious. I would love to see that.
As long as you get your rest properly. We should probably have a watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wandering in.
We can do a watch, and I'm thinking. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking any of you are still having injuries, you might want to take care of that before you rest. I mean, I'm okay for now, but some of you are beat up. If there's anything left?
Yeah, I think a good long sleep will take care of most of that for me.
Yeah. I think everyone was more or less healed afterwards.
Okay,
Anyway.
I can remember.
Doak was only one
Spell
hit
the
point
spell
down.
slots.
Yeah.
Because you guys did a couple of heal spells after the fight.
Okay,
Yeah, I was still down 40, but
that's what I mean.
Okay, yeah.
See?
well, but I would recover that after a long rest, wouldn't I?
Yeah,
So
Would you? Okay.
yeah.
I
After a
didn't think
long
you got
rest.
hit points.
Yeah, a
Okay.
long rest, you restore hit points to max.
Oh,
And
I-
spell slots and all that good stuff.
didn't think that happened. Okay,
Nope, yep, it does.
my bad.
Short rest is hit dice, and
Yeah.
if you spent hit dice, a long rest only restores half of your total. So, like if you had 10 hit dice and you spent 7 of them, you only get 5 back from a long
All right,
rest.
cool.
So if you have 11, do you only get 5 back or 6?
You always round down, so you get 5 back.
Yeah.
So if there's any opportunity for me to talk to them without, no offense, Granis, because we just met, girl.
You were talking Croatoan.
And
Yeah, that's what they were doing previously.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doak and Granis and any of the other people there won't be able to understand you if you're speaking in Kuotoan.
We get a secret language.
I mean, she didn't like it.
Rude.
Yeah,
what? What, Chooch?
Oh, I said she didn't like it, but we did it.
yeah. Doak and Granis spoke in Giant about how rude it was to speak in a language that the rest of the group doesn't know.
How about we let Granis take first watch, and then as she's sleeping and as Doak is sleeping, we can have our discussion, and then she will not be offended.
Winner.
Yeah, I ain't trying to offend nobody.
Especially someone as big as me
No, definitely.
and ugly.
All
So,
right.
Granis and Doak take the first watch?
Sure.
All right.
They're making pretty good friends, those two.
Oh, Granis loves Doak.
I'm going to
I think he
Hunker down in the
enjoys
corner.
speaking with you in Giant just to kind of practice it. Like he's pretty fluent, but he probably doesn't speak it constantly, so he kind
Every
of
now
likes.
and then he doesn't conjugate a verb just properly.
Right.
Yeah.
So he missing some vocabulary words. But yeah, okay. So we can go ahead and have whichever one of you wants to make a perception check for the watch, and the other can
I'll
aid.
do it.
Okay, so he can roll with advantage because he's aiding.
Oh, good. Because that first one sucked. All right, so 15 plus. Where's my perception? So that's a 19.
Okay. Mostly what you are aware of at the present is that there's definitely a gathering storm outside. Even before the sun has gone down, the sky has gotten darker and the wind has kind of picked up. And so you're pretty well protected in here where you are, but it's definitely clear that there's a big storm outside.
I feel creepily connected to this. The wind just blew up outside and it's poured down rain all of a sudden. GM powers are too powerful.
That's a big one. I don't remember seeing a big one this big since I was little.
Yeah.
You probably weren't born, eh, Doak?
Well, I mean, I've seen big storms, but I mean, I don't. How old are you?
I'm not quite middle aged, I'm not old, but not young. Just
Okay.
the right age. It's hard to explain when you're not a stone giant.
Well, I guess I get it. I get that. I mean, I'm like a grown up, but not like I don't know if it's old like by your terms. Probably not.
How old are you?
21.
See, in for like humans, that's younger
Well,
or older.
I mean, with Dragonborn, like we mature faster than humans. I mean, it's not like a judgment thing. It's just how
just
it is.
fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, we stone giants, we mature slowly. We do everything slowly.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like, he kind of sort of just gestures around. It's like, well, I mean, slow, but slow can create some amazing things over time. Like, everything, outside kind of, can change so fast. It's hard to really build up anything big because, before you could even get started, everyone's changed their mind.
Yeah, we don't do that so much. Like, for instance, I was in school for 20 years. And I think that would probably be a long time for your people, huh?
That sounds awful.
Oh, I liked it. I mean, I liked my school teacher until she turned into a jerk and then turned into stone. But I'd been out of school for, I don't know, at least 20 years since then, so that's okay.
Yeah, you're a little older than me.
Well, like I said,
I mean,
we
that's
age
okay. I mean,
slower.
that's, yeah.
Yeah, takes time.
He kind of looks over at where, the five folks that you've kind of rescued are, and he's just like, I was so sure he was like, when we first came here, I kind of had in my head that this was just going to be like this big fun adventure, and we're going to rescue everybody, and it was going to be great. And and then when we were dealing with the dragon, I was so afraid that's what had happened to him, is that the dragon had killed him. And I'm glad we were able to rescue these guys, and but it's like now that I'm here and I'm just seeing like everything that's happened here, just like even though it was such a big part of why I thought we were coming here, it feels like such a consolation prize now. I mean,
Hmm.
I want us to figure out what to do about everybody.
That's why I like you, Doke. You're looking at the big picture, and you're not ignoring the little guys or people that you don't have a personal connection to. I like that about you.
Thanks.
Yeah, there's a lot to do, and I don't know how to end that magic circle.
I don't either, but I mean, I'm just glad that you know, do you think that the things that make you different are why you didn't just get put under the same spell as everybody else?
I think so. There's some magic in me, and because of that, sometimes I can resist other magic.
Hmm. Well, I know that it must have caused you pain at times, but I'm sure glad that you were here to be able to help us, and I hope that we can help you.
I hope so too. I hope I can help my people. I mean, it hurts that they didn't want me, but I think it would be worse if they were like that forever. And I wasn't here to help them. I think
Yeah.
them rejecting me is probably the only thing that might have saved them.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I mean, like I like these guys that I came with, and I think they want to help too, but I know they're not telling me everything. And it seems like some of the stuff they're not telling me is like seems really important, and like it has to do with those purple things that seem so important in the story statue. And
Hmm.
I mean, they seem like good people, so I mean, I guess I trust that whatever they're doing for the right reasons, but I can't help but wonder why they don't feel like they can tell me about it.
It's hard to trust somebody that isn't willing to share the truth with you.
Yeah.
Trust is a two-way street. If they can't be honest with you, you can't really trust them.
Well, and I'll be honest, like I wouldn't say that I have the longest resume when it comes to adventuring. I don't have as much experience as they do. Um, but, I kind of felt like we were a team, and now, when they wouldn't tell me, it kind of made me feel like I'm not really part of the team.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Especially when you faced a life and death situation. You killed a dragon for them. You killed one of your own people for them.
Well,
But, yeah.
so I think they must have their reasons, but yeah. Anyway, I knew you'd understand.
I do. And as long as you're around me, I'm going to make sure you're okay.
Thanks. I'll do the same.
No.
All right, so
I think his moms would approve.
okay, so I think probably who's taking the next watch?
Well, I only needed 4 hours of actual sleep, so or meditation. So I guess I can go next.
All right.
Amethyst is probably well rested if I could catch her up on what's going on.
I would say you're like you don't precisely need a long rest, Amethyst, but I think that whole experience was sort of very disorienting, and I imagine you feel jet lagged even if you're not necessarily sleepy.
Yeah.
But up to you. So we'll say it's been 4 hours.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get up with Nira, and I don't want to tell the stories until everyone's all together. But
Okay.
I can fill her
I
in
can
on,
hold up on
on what we're doing.
Please and thank you.
Okay, so here's where we are. You noticed we're in a cave. We have come up here to these stone giants, and it's been a mess. The first one we came across was Granis, and she's different than these other stone giants.
What brought you here?
Wasn't she part of that?
Amethyst,
I literally don't remember.
That's okay.
Oh.
So Amethyst, you would probably recall that part of the whole arrangement where you were going to get a discount on some of the powerful magical items from the carrot and stick was by completing a delivery of a supersized immovable rod to the leader of the stone giants.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so like if you could complete the delivery and come back with the payment, you would get the discount on the magical items, but the reason you were needed is because for whatever reason the stone giants had stopped coming around, and then when they sent Deke to go try to find out why he didn't come back, and that's why the reason for the mission.
So we got up here, and everything, it looks like it's all been shut down for, and it looks longer than it's actually been. So it's really strange what's going on here. Things are crumbling. There's been little beasties running around, and oh yes, the cave dragon. That was fun. Glad you missed that.
Yeah, the corpse looked pretty awful, Amethyst.
Yeah.
It was bludgeoned to death.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was just brutal. But so the main thing that we're facing right now, all that aside, is within this vault, this one stone giant had magically convinced all of the other stone giants, except for Granis, to go into this petrified state until the ending of this reality, which in their beliefs, this is all a dream. So they went into this petrified state and locked themselves in this vault in the hopes that they would survive the unraveling of the dream and then wake up into actual reality. I don't know that I necessarily would have interfered if Granis wasn't so sure that all of this was wrong. Because I know how tricky beliefs can be.
Right. Right.
And so we finally got in there. And that's where the cave dragon came in. He took the thing that was the reason, the whole thing that we needed to get into this vault. He had taken this reflector. Anyway, so cave dragon's dead. We go into the vault, and there is this giant magic circle on the floor. And after some investigation, it appears that this is what's controlling the petrification. All of the other stone giants are in there, still petrified. It hasn't dispersed even after we disposed of Calcifa, got her out of the way. She was charming people into believing that this was the end of the dream, basically. So Grannis is mostly responsible for that particular death. Not that we don't have plenty of our own on our hands, but there really was no choice.
One other detail, Nira, that during your meditations, you probably found your thoughts kind of continuously returning to without really your intention. But just the feeling that you had of that giant statue, that there was an incredibly powerful spirit in there, but like bound and stripped of its will.
Huh.
I don't know if you were sharing that. I'm just saying that during your meditations, you would have found yourself continuously returning to that idea.
There's something going on with this giant stone statue. Calcifer was able to control it in some way. And I cannot forget the feeling. There's this great spiritual energy trapped in there somehow, bound in some way. And it's driving me crazy that I can't figure out how to get at it or release it or free it. But it's there, and that's another thing that I would like to deal with.
Right. That sounds like a miserable existence.
Nothing should be bound like that.
No.
Against its will. But so yes, big green glowy magical circle on the floor, still petrifying the giants. I am hesitant to dispel the magic circle outright because I don't know. Calcifer had used. She accessed the magic circle in some way to release these 5, that the non-giants. She used it in some way to deactivate the petrification. So part of me is hesitant to just outright dispel the magic circle. But I don't know how else to use it. So that's kind of where we're at. I have a few things at my disposal, but only so many times that I can use them to get rid of that petrification. You know, if I'm only one person,
Right.
You know, so I'm going to. So mechanically, Christiana, could I cast sending on Doak for him to ask about the magic circle to his parents, or does that have to be me?
You can't do it for him.
Okay.
I mean, you could send the message to his parents, but you would have to do it. He can't. You can't allow him to do it.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so that's my plan. You know, once everyone's all rested.
And technically speaking, although you only needed the 4 hours of meditation instead of sleep, you do still need 8 hours to complete a long rest.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's the plan, is to contact Doak's mothers and see if they have any guidance that they can give, and something that I don't know, some kind of advice to get
Is
rid
it
of that
possible
thing.
that there could be a spell that could be dispelled that's holding the spirit captive within the stone? Have you tried to just dispel magic on that?
No, I would. It's been a very, very long 2 days.
It sounds like it. It really sounds like it.
I don't know why.
Huh?
Nothing. Didn't say anything. You know, she picked up a wand. That's all.
Yeah, it was like this rod with some kind of magical property, which I can figure out after, you know, the long rest and everything, because my little magnifying glass will be all ready
Charged
to go again.
up. Yeah.
But yeah.
So, I mean, but the people that are with us now, do you think that we're safe with them? I mean, Grannis, Doak, I know you've just met these freshly unpetrified folks, but do you feel like we're safe with them if something happens with?
I don't know the first thing about the 5 that we rescued.
Okay.
Grannis and Doak are good people, though. I feel like we've, and that's another thing. I think we need to tell Doak what's going on. I know the fewer people that know, the better. But he, after all of this, I think he deserves to know.
Well, there are certainly a large number of people that already know. So if you feel that strongly about it, I trust your judgment on it. If it's an ally that you're, trusting of, then I'm sure the others feel the same way.
I think he has the right to make his own decision.
Oh, well, if that's the situation, then absolutely. I mean, if there shouldn't be anything false with, such things at stake. Full disclosure. The others may feel differently. They know the situation better, but I believe in people being able to choose their own path.
I'm glad we're both on the same page.
I'm gonna fill you in on all of the doings with the Lord of the Hunt later when everybody else is up. It's
of course there's
kind of a lot.
Yeah, you should only tell us once. That seems like I can't even imagine.
Well, and with everything else going on here.
Well, you can imagine kind of,
Nira,
you got spirited away by the the Fey Queen. It's not totally dissimilar.
Mm-hmm.
But Nira, the storm has been building outside, and you had just kind of wrapped up this conversation with Amethyst, and all of a sudden there's a flash and a really powerful, crack of thunder outside. And it can't help but draw your attention up to the window. And then when you look back, Amethyst is asleep. Just like that. And you feel inside a compulsion. The part of you that is connected to Rushama is telling you to go and see that storm.
I'm gonna do it. I'm going. Excited. Let's go. Let's do this. So I'm going to see if anybody else is awake and watching.
Nope. Nobody's.
Nope.
Everyone's
right.
out.
Sneaking out.
Including Amethyst, who was awake a second ago.
Are you the guard?
She's not dead.
No,
she's not dead.
She's just asleep.
And she's our watch, or is there? And everybody else is asleep.
Yep.
Okay.
She's abandoning us.
Hey, honey, it ain't the first time. I'm just getting prepared.
So you make your way out of this classroom, and it's actually a good 10-minute walk to get to sort of the mouth of the cave. But as you're making your way out, it is now fully dark, and so there's very little light at all. There's no moon at all, because you can see that the sky is completely overcast with these just roiling thunderhead storm clouds, and everything is occasionally illuminated by these flashes of lightning that make it actually a little difficult to have your eyes fully adjust to the darkness or the light, because it keeps flashing bright and then going back to dark. But the wind is kicking up, and there's just that sense of anticipation from a coming storm. And as you get closer to the mouth of the cave, you're seeing even more that there's very powerful, heavy rain happening outside the cave, and gusts of wind sometimes send spatters of these raindrops in and across you. And there's no question that this is a very big storm. And you are just sort of now approaching the mouth of the cave, where there is a couple 100-foot drop to the plateau below, where there's the elevator not running right now, but then there was also the long ramp. That's the way that you came up.
So is there like a I guess what would you call it, a lip to the outside of the cave? Like
there's only, in terms of like standing out where you're getting rained on, but before going down, you mean?
Yeah.
a little bit, partly just because the wind kind of blows the rain in a little bit, but not you're not sort of quite fully exposed.
Well, I don't want to go all the way down. I'm going to sit on the edge and just going to sit on the edge and kind of close my eyes and smell the rain and feel the electricity crackling in the air.
Make a perception check.
Double check that. Yep, 17.
All right. You, as you're sitting there and trying to open your awareness to everything around you, are feeling that you definitely sense a powerful spiritual energy in this storm. It's not an ordinary weather formation. And then with one, another flash of lightning up in the clouds, just for a split second, you see, briefly illuminated by the sparks of lightning, up in the clouds is a gargantuan serpent-like shape with feathered wings and a dragon-like head, impossibly large, writhing within the center of the clouds, there during the flash of lightning and then once again hidden.
That's so cool. How long will it take me to get down?
Well, if you go down the ramp, it's only a couple of minutes to walk down there.
Okay. And the elevator's not running, so I don't
Right.
really have a choice. So, I'll give a last look over my shoulder. They're probably okay. And I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go down the ramp.
So you make your way down the ramp and you are, buffeted by rain and wind on your way that only gets more intense as you reach the level of the plateau and start moving out towards the center of the big open fields within it. And as you make your way out there, are you continuing to kind of look up to where this thing was in the sky?
Yeah, because that's definitely where my focus is.
All right. There's a lot of lightning and thunder happening in this very powerful storm, and the wind is blowing, and it's cold, and the wind is almost knocks you off your feet a couple of times just with gusts. And each time you see lightning illuminate the sky in that direction, you see it moving, writhing towards the sky, vaguely coming in your direction.
All right. I guess I will find an open patch to stand. I think it was mostly like fields and such down here.
Yeah, so there's
right?
big sort of open farmland area in addition to some of the smaller, or the buildings that were for like trading and stuff like that. But mostly the plateau is farmland.
Okay. Well, if it's coming this way, I guess I'll just find a spot and wait. See what happens.
Right. As you're watching this thing approach, you see it continuing to move in your direction as the wind continues to intensify. It's, and the rain pelting you feels almost like being pelted with stones, and some of them probably are little small rocks and pebbles picked up by the wind. And it's
can I use my shield as an umbrella, kind of?
Yep.
That's probably a bad idea. Get struck by lightning.
All right. But as you are standing there, you make another perception check.
19.
The next time the lightning illuminates, this thing's definitely looking right at you. It's moving closer. It's still hard to gauge exactly how close it is because there's nothing amongst it to give you scale. But given the sense that you can detect it moving closer and that it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, this thing is, mountain-sized.
I am going to kind of hold on to my little holy symbol here and just like, maybe this wasn't such a good idea, but here we are.
Make a religion check.
That's also yep. That is a. You have to math now. 16.
Okay. You are feeling, without words, Rushama's presence within you, but it doesn't say anything. But he's with you.
As in the being in the sky, or
No.
like physically?
No.
Oh,
The Rushama that you know that is within you, the part of him that he is imbued within you to give you your power, you feel his presence in you. And that's not him.
Yeah, maybe this wasn't a great idea. Well, you know what? While I'm here, maybe it knows something about this rod that we got from the from that stone from Calcifa. So I'm going to look up and I don't know your name, but if you would help one of your own, someone is trapped here.
You are still sensing this incredibly powerful spiritual energy, but it has no language. It does not respond at all to your question, but just moves in closer.
I'm gonna hold the rod out to it and actually I'm trying to think if I should just place it on the ground or
Make a dexterity saving throw.
yeah. Let's see. Dexterity. It's +2. 17.
You are struck by lightning. And you take 27 lightning damage and find yourself knocked off your feet, landing prone 10 feet behind where you were standing.
Fantastic.
The rod is now too hot to hold in your hand.
27, you said?
Yep.
She'll still not learn.
No, probably
She's
not.
still gonna run off in the middle of the night.
I think this is encouragement in a strange way, though.
This thing is roiling towards you again, and we're going to roll initiative.
Oh,
I'm so screwed right now.
I mean, it doesn't sound good. But I believe in you, Nira. I do. I do.
right.
Bless your little pea-picking heart.
That's a 6, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, 6.
Okay, so
I would help, but I was knocked unconscious.
this this thing is moving towards you, and again, this feels vaguely like somehow you don't even see anything like a limb reach out, but just a wall of force as solid as anything you've felt before seems to just swing out and try to just slam at you with a thunderous force. And it's gonna be a 23 to hit.
Yep.
Zoinks.
And that's another 26 thunder damage.
God.
Well, you got its attention.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to remember trying to remember exactly what this stuff does. The oil of etherealness.
I believe that takes a moment, like a minute to apply.
Okay. Well,
So it is your turn now.
yeah.
You are still prone on the ground, being pelted by wind and rain and thunderous force.
Yeah. Okay. So, probably take another hit and die, but whatever. I'm going to use Destructive Wave because I can.
Okay. Remind me what that does?
Okay. Alright. That might not work because I think that's on the ground.
This thing is floating in the sky.
Yeah. That's not going to work. Yeah. So I'm not going to use that one. See, locusts will probably get knocked away by the wind. This sucks.
I approve of that pun, Mark. In the chat there. For those of you who don't see the Twitch chat, it did hit her AC and she missed the DC.
She was thunderstruck.
By the way, for the future, oil of etherealness takes 10 minutes to apply.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's a whole like scene with soft lens and everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's super sexy. It's kind of like the scenes of decontamination from Enterprise.
I think they take a little bit of it later and make oil of Olay out of it or something.
I don't know what to do here.
So make an insight check.
That's not going to go well. That is a 13.
You got the feeling from this spiritual energy, like when you asked it and when it struck you with lightning and this attack and everything. Oops, we lost Chooch. Hopefully he'll be back. Oh, there he is. It was just a switch of the camera. Excellent. Okay. You got the feeling, like I said before, that like this thing doesn't have language. And you recall what Doak had said, that the spirits were just wild here. They're not used to worship in any sort of a ritual form.
Mm.
And you get the impression that it's just anger and rage and power is what's going on with this thing.
Okay, well, I don't have a ton that I can do here besides run. Because I don't think calling the lightning will do anything because that's what it's already doing.
Make a religion check.
I feel like it might be immune to that. That is a 19.
You feel, when you consider that spell, you feel Rushama showing you again the powerful spirit bound in statue form, its will removed. You see this thing above you, this raw power with no consciousness or intelligence to guide it. And Rushama asks you, are these the choices?
Are these the choices? To be completely bound or boundless? No, I think there's a better way.
Make another dexterity saving throw.
Shit. I'm gonna die, y'all. That one went better. Okay. That is a 19.
Okay, that's still a fail.
So dead.
You're fighting like a thunderstorm god.
Damn.
Okay, well,
That's another 33 lightning damage as once again.
and I am now unconscious, and it has activated the perioperative wound closure.
Okay.
That's it.
So what?
It
So
works.
that
Good.
automatically stabilizes you, correct? That's what that
Yeah.
item does.
Yeah.
But so you feel the lightning, this electricity coursing through your body at the same time, more or less, that you had been having these thoughts about a better way, and now as your vision fades into black, you lose any sense of the storm around you, and you find yourself once again, for the first time in a while, standing on top of the very peak of Rushama with this golden dragon unicorn shape that you have once before seen with Rushama floating above you. It says, "Once you prayed to me to ask for a choice. What choice would you make?"
What do you mean, to be completely bound or boundless? That's
You prayed to me asking for a choice.
I
What
did.
choice would you have? You were angry that I did not reply.
I
Would you
was.
have me be that statue in the stone giant city?
No.
Would you have me be that wild thing in the sky?
No. Although, given if those were my only two choices,
Are
the
they?
second. I don't think so. I think there's somewhere in between.
Then call the lightning. You open your eyes and you're now laying there drenched in the storm, looking up at this enormous gargantuan writhing serpent peering down at you, its head 500 feet wide, looking down at you.
I'm calling the lightning. Doing it.
You reach out with the spiritual energy within you, and you find that suddenly you're no longer feeling, injured and weak. You feel as though you were able to draw this thing's own lightning energy out of it, pulling it to yourself, creating your own storm separate from it, but drawing from its own energy and its own strength. And then following some instinct that you couldn't express in words, you call the lightning onto yourself. And then you're in the sky, looking down upon this plateau, looking across at this enormous spirit as it nods to you and then begins to move away. And then with another crack of lightning, you're standing on the plateau again. And your holy symbol is hot against your skin.
Well, that's one way to teach me a lesson, I suppose. Is the rod still around here?
Yes, it's laying in the mud.
I will go pick it up, and I'm gonna go back inside.
And you have been granted a boon. and it's the mechanics of it are a little bit complicated. But you are now immune to lightning damage.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
And you can travel along lightning.
So amazing. I'm excited. That's so great. Thank you.
And so you kind of intuitively feel that Rushama has granted you some new power here, even if you don't necessarily fully understand it yet.
That is so cool. That's so exciting.
So I think Amethyst, you find like a crack of thunder wakes you up, and you kind of sit up, blink awake, listen to the storm, and it seems like it's moved away a little bit. But you also realize, wait, wasn't I just talking to Nira a minute ago? Where is she?
So I look around. She's not anywhere inside?
No.
And I'm the only one awake. I'm gonna. I don't want to leave them unprotected, but I'm gonna wake up Archie.
So you kind of nudge Archie awake.
Hey, Archie. Nira was on watch, and we were talking, and I think something made me fall asleep, and now she's gone.
Gone.
Do you want to go look for her, or do you want to keep an eye on everything here? I don't know that I don't want to wake everybody else yet, but
Well, yeah, I guess we should see if maybe she's just, doing her business or.
doing her bio break, BRB.
So I think at about this time, Nira does return, and what you guys see as she comes in, first of all, like her armor, like around her shoulders, is scorched. She has got mud all up and down her butt. And her hair is kind of sticking out all over.
Please tell me it's picking up in a mohawk.
And
kind of
you
light-
see just a little bit of an electrical spark behind her eyes. And there is a confidence there that you didn't see before.
Mud and all.
It's been a hell of a bowel movement.
How can we not end the session there? I think that'll bring us to a close for tonight.
It was a heck of a movement on so many levels.
All right, well, yay! So our first session with Amethyst back, and got some cool stuff.
Very cool.
That was awesome.
And here I thought she was going to learn a lesson for a minute there. Nope.
Well, she learned the lesson that Rushama wanted her to learn.
That's true. That's true. It's so cool. A little more scared of her now.
Definitely.
I cannot wait to try that. That's going to be so amazing.
All right, so I think like I said, we'll call it to a close there. Thank you, everybody, for listening and or watching, especially those of you watching us live in the chat. Mother Dragon, Smarter Master, Prince Justin, I saw in the chat there. It was so great to have you guys watching live, and then any of you, of course, watching on YouTube later or listening to the podcast version. We love to have you as well, and we'll be back next week for more adventure on so many
levels.
Cut off the stream before we have to pay for that. All right?